17th January 2023 Morning Murli Shanti BapDada Madhuban. Sweet children, content to remember Baba with love. Constantly follow Srimad and always pay attention to the study, and everyone will give you regard. Question: which children can experience supersensuous joy? Answer: those who are soul conscious. First, to achieve this, when you are speaking or explaining to someone, consider yourself the soul to be speaking to your brother soul. By making the vision of brotherhood firm, you will continue to become soul conscious. Second point, only those who have the intoxication of being God's students will experience supersensuous joy. Song: who has come to the door of my mind with the sound of ankle bells? Shanti. The Father sits here and explains to you children. In no other organization do they say that the Father is explaining to his children. You children know that the Father of all the children truly is one. All are brothers. You children definitely receive the inheritance from that Father. You can explain the cycle very clearly. This is the confluence age when you receive liberation and liberation in life. When you children go into liberation in life, all the rest will go into liberation. He alone is called the bestower of salvation, the liberator and the guide. There are so many human beings in the kingdom of Ravan. In the kingdom of Ram, there is just the one original, eternal deity relation. That is called Arya and Un-Arya. Those who are reformed are said to be Aryan, and those who are unreformed are called Un-Aryan. No one knows the meaning of this or how the reformed ones became unreformed. Arya was not a religion. Those deities were reformed, and then, while taking 84 births, they became unreformed. Those who were the highest, worthy of worship ones, then became worshippers. Only the Father explains to you the meaning of Hamso. It is very good to explain the picture of the ladder. It isn't that souls are the supreme soul and that the supreme soul is a soul. No, this is a variety play. You know that you are worthy of worship and that you then became worshippers, that you were deities and that you then became warriors, etc. You would definitely come down the ladder. There is this account of who takes 84 births. The Father says, you don't know your own births. I tell you about them. This is a cycle, and we are the ones who became deities, warriors, etc. within it. 21 births is very well known. People don't know these things. They are Tamapradhan. Now only you children receive all the knowledge, but hardly any understand it. That is why it is said, only a handful out of multi-millions will come and take this knowledge and belong to the deity religion. You shouldn't be amazed about this. It is easy to explain the picture of the cycle. That is the golden age, whereas this is the iron age. There are very few people in the golden age. The tree is small at first and then it grows. No one knows about this tree. They hardly understand anything about Brahma. Tell them that Brahmins, the mouth-born creation of Brahma, are definitely needed. They are adopted children. Those Brahmins are a physical creation, whereas you Brahmins are the mouth-born creation. This is the foreign kingdom of Ravan. The Father has to come and establish the kingdom of Ram. So he would enter someone. See this one is standing at a very top of the tree. It has now reached the state of total decay. The Father says, I enter this one at the end of the last of his many births. This is the final one of his 84 births, and he is doing tapasya. We don't call him God. People of the world have said that God is omnipresent, and that He is in the pebbles and stones. This is why the themselves have become like pebbles and stones. Everything of the deities is unique. You are now studying and claiming that status. This is such an elevated study. Those deities are also called gods and goddesses because they are pure and that religion is established by God Himself. So they would surely be a god and goddess, but they are called the emperor and empress. To call Sri Lakshmi and Sri Narayan a god and goddess is blind faith because there is only one God. You differentiate between Shiv and Shankar and show them to be two beings. Due to this, those people say that you even throw out the deities. You have the whole cycle in your intellects. But only those who are Maharathis are able to explain this very clearly. There are many who listen to this, but it doesn't sit in their intellects. And so, what would they become? They would become maids and servants worth a few pennies. As you make further progress, you will have visions, but you won't be able to do anything at that time. Time will have come to an end, and so what would you be able to do then? This is why Baba continues to caution you. However, it is not possible that everyone will become elevated. Their vessels are not clean. Their intellects are filled with rubbish. You need to make very good effort in this. You need to practice explaining the pictures a great deal. Otherwise, you will have to repent at the end. Your souls are receiving this food. Thus, things have to be explained to everyone. There is no question of being afraid. When you have museums and exhibitions at big places, your name is glorified. Baba told you to ask everyone for their opinion. Those two should be printed. Your children have to do a lot of service. You have to check whether or not those people understand that the new world and that this is the old world. Anyone should be able to understand this, but because they have lengthened the duration of the cycle, people have become confused. First of all, you have to give the Father's introduction. Those who remain soul conscious are able to experience supersensitive joy. Nothing will happen by you just giving lectures. When you give lectures, you have to understand I the soul and explain to my brother souls. It requires a lot of effort to become soul conscious, but your children repeatedly forget. The Father Himself comes and explains to your children. It is remembered that souls remain separated from the Supreme Soul for a long time. Only you can understand the meaning of this. Those who are Maharathis have to practice considering themselves to be souls and remembering the Father a great deal. Only then will they be able to consider themselves to be powerful. What would those who don't consider themselves to be souls be able to imbibe? Only by having remembrance will you be filled with power. It is not said the power of knowledge. It is said the power of yoga. It is only with the power of yoga that you become the masters of the world. You now have to make many others similar to yourselves. Until you make many others similar to yourselves, destruction cannot take place. Although a big war should begin, it would then end. Many people now have bombs, but those are not for keeping. The old world definitely has to be destroyed, and the original eternal religion definitely has to be established. After a short time, everyone will say, truly, this is the same great war. God is definitely here. When many people come to you, everyone will also begin to accept you and say, these people are growing fast. They have a lot of might. To the extent that you stay in remembrance, accordingly, you will be filled with power. You give others light by your having remembrance of the Father. This Dada means Brahma also says, these children do much better service than I do. Now there is still time. No one can stay in yoga accurately. They themselves feel that they lack yoga, and this is why the arrow doesn't strike the target. God is filling the Kumaris with the arrows of knowledge. You are Prajapita Brahma Kumaris and Kumaris. Thus one is Brahma and you are the adopted children. There is just the one creator and all the rest are studying. Brahma is also included in that. So then, thus is the creation. You are going to become deities. You are imbibing divine virtues. In some cases, both wheels, means a couple, are not able to follow this path. It is as though they are standing on sand. Baba does not mention any names. However, you should understand that Baba is telling the truth. Your children too can know the natures of those you work with. Your children understand that you wear the crown on the head and that you are now becoming that once again. When you explain to others, they are at first not ready to believe you. Then gradually they begin to understand. A lot of wisdom is needed for this. The intellect is in the soul. The soul is the truth, the living being and the embodiment of bliss. Your children are now being made to become soul conscious. Not until the Father comes can anyone become soul conscious. The Father now says, may you be soul conscious. Constantly remember me alone and you will receive power from me. This religion is very powerful. It rules over the whole world. Is this a small thing? You receive power by having yoga with the Father. This is a new thing which you have to explain very clearly. He alone is the unlimited Father of souls. He alone is the creator of the new world. You can tell them the occupation of Shiv and what he comes and does. They celebrate the birthday of Shri Krishna and also of Shiv. Now who is the creator of the two? The highest on high is the incorporeal one. What did he do that people celebrate the birthday of Shiv? What did Shri Krishna do? It is written that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, enters an ordinary, old body and carries out establishment. There are many different opinions. There is only one Srimad through which you become elevated. How could you become elevated? By following the dictates of human beings. These are God's directions which you only receive once at the confluence age. Deities do not give directions. They change from human beings into deities and that's it. There they don't adopt gurus, etc. Here human beings take directions from gurus. Therefore, you have to explain to them tactfully that you are Raj Yogis. Hatha Yogis can never teach Raj Yoga. They belong to the path of isolation. Only those who belong to the family path should go on pilgrimages. Your children must not become confused about anything. Thus is the predestined drama which continues to repeat. Your service continues as it did in the previous cycle. The drama inspires you to make effort. You do it exactly as you did in the previous cycle. You can understand from the behavior of those who make effort. This is why at the exhibitions you have to appoint a guide for a group so that that guide can explain very well. The Father who is teaching you knows this very well. He makes your intellects very broad and unlimited. You should have the intoxication of whose children you are. God is teaching you. If some are unable to study, they run away. God also understands this one is not my child. You saw how some children of God were studying and then ran away. Then after understanding something, they begin to study again. If they then stay in yoga very well, they can claim a high status. They would understand that they truly wasted a lot of time by leaving such a school. They will definitely claim their inheritance from the Father now. By remembering the Father and saying, Baba, Baba, you would have goose pimples. Baba is inspiring us to claim an elevated status. We are so fortunate. You should repeatedly have remembrance of Baba and also continue to follow directions. So there can then be a lot of progress. Everyone would give such a person a lot of regard. Baba says the uneducated ones will bow down in front of the educated ones. Those who have body consciousness cannot imbibe divine virtues. Your faces should be first class. It is said, as the ones God is teaching about supersensitive joy. You should pay so much attention to the study and also follow Srimad. Even the world becomes pure with your power of yoga. You make the world pure with yoga. It is a wonder. You have to lift the mountain with your fingers. Means a memorial of the Govardhan mountain lifted by everyone's finger of cooperation. That is a symbol of those who made this dirty world pure. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, BapDada. The spiritual father says, Namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children says, Namaste and good morning to the spiritual father. Essence for the dharana. First point, in order for your intellect to imbibe true knowledge, you have to make the vessel of your intellect pure and clean. Remove wasteful things from your intellect. Second point, pay full attention to imbibing divine virtues and the study and experience supersensitive joy. Always maintain the intoxication of being God's children and that He Himself is teaching you. Blessing. May your intellect have faith and may you stay carefree and reach your destination of perfection with the foundation of faith. Explanation. Faith is the foundation of perfection in Brahman life, and if this foundation is strong, it is then guaranteed that you can easily reach your destination of perfection at a fast speed. Those who have accurate faith remain constantly carefree. Accurate faith is to know your soul conscious form, to accept it, and to move along accordingly to that and know the Father accurately as He is, His form, and the way that He plays His part. Those whose intellects have such faith are victorious. Slogan. Those who donate to everyone their time, their happiness, and their desire for attainment are great donors. Aum. Shanti. With Avyakta silence, experience the double light angelic stage. In the beginning, you used to practice your moving, but your stage was such that others would feel that a light is passing by them. They were not able to see your body. With this practice, you passed every type of paper. Now that the times to come will be very bad, increase the practice of being double light. When others constantly see your form of light, that is your safety. When they enter, let them only see a fortress of light. Aum. Shanti.